Alrighty, all right. Let me just mute my other tab here. Let me just say a big hello to each and every one of you guys. I see one viewer down in the chat there, and I know that one viewer is me because I have the tab open. 3 likes, that's cool. That's pretty surprising. And one of those likes is also me. But anyhow, guys, as usual, just let me know if there's any audio quality issues. Quality. Here at Mongo's Big Thanks, we try to bring you the utmost entertainment value with the least amount of audio issues. But we're just gonna chill here for a little bit. We're gonna do a few tweets here and there. Just in case somebody filters in, we don't want them to miss it. Because I'm gonna be honest, it's probably gonna be a little bit of a short one. Gonna be a bit of a shorty. Doesn't mean it'll be bad. Probably pretty good. But uno momento. Let me just do it up to this. Do share on Twitter. Opening up the Twitter tab. All right. I'm going to be typing here so you get to hear some keyboard ASMR. Let's see. We're live with an article. Maybe I should do that, an ASMR channel. Alrighty, guys. Oh, Lord have mercy. We're live with an article on the in development. We'll do that in all caps. In development, King Kong show that will premiere on Disney Plus. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. And now we do the enter key. Yeah, I'm gonna walk us through this. If you're lucky, maybe I'll read a phone book on tape, so you can have that in your ear wherever you are. Pass on through for a quick little stream. Alrighty, bada bing, bada boom. We hit the tweet button right there, and off it goes into the internet. Oh, well, look at that. Shoo. Look at that, man. Look at that. Y'all can't see it, but got a good old fella down there. Theme Park Casual. He went and he tweeted it out. He tweeted out the stream. He says, if I trust anyone's opinion on a new Kong series, it's Mongo Thinks. That's me. Join him live now. Big shout outs and thank you to Theme Park Casual. Whoa, we got somebody else down here in the chat. We got the animation commentator. They'll probably reboot him as Queen Kong. That'll teach the toxic patriarchy. I'll tell you, there's one King Kong movie that I'm never going to watch. It's Queen Kong. It's a real movie. And I've looked at it. I've looked at the trailer. I've skimmed through it on YouTube. Let me just take a look and see if it's still on YouTube. Yes, you can watch the full movie of Queen Kong on YouTube. And I'll put that down there. in the chat. It's yeah, it's a comedy movie, of course. It's a campy comedy parody of King Kong, but personally, I think it's a little silly. Queen Kong movie on YouTube. I gotta say, before we get into the article, I got home from a nice day at work. It was pretty good. Temperature was like 10 degrees cooler than last week. And I gotta say, it was very surprising to me to see this headline. I think I saw it first get tweeted. At least the first tweet that I saw that was talking about it was let me see, what was it? Kaiju News Outlet. Let's see, there we go. Yeah. Figures, it's like let me see. Yes, there's the Queen Kong movie. The Queen Kong movie. Oh goodness. I'm looking at it right now. Honestly, this actually no, the suit is terrible. I was gonna say, the suit ain't half bad, but no, it's terrible. Anyways, so I think without further ado, we'll kind of just hop on into this article here. Let me just get the share things all set. Oh, let me put on some background music. Daydreaming. Jam. That is my jam right there. Let me turn up the volume here. Let me pump it up for you guys. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let me tune it down here. There we go. A nice calm 35. But alrighty. Let me get synced up here. Let me share screen. Let's see. There we go. Mute the website notifications. Bada bing, bada boom. Here's Deadline Hollywood on Twitter. An iconic monster is headed to Disney Plus. Disney branded television is in very early development of King Kong. Working title: a series for Disney Plus tracking the original story of the famous ape. Deals have just closed for the project from James Wan's Atomic Monster. Next tweet here says, King Kong, a 90-year-old character with an entangled web of rights, has been the subject of a slew of movies, most recently featured in legendary / Warner Brothers Monsterverse, which only uses the Kong part of the gorilla's moniker for its titles. Alrighty, so that's kind of the preamble there. That's our little intro. I like how they have this art here. It's very nice. I do not have this piece of art, but I have a book with a similar piece of art. But anyhow, let's hop on over to the next tab here. I don't want notifications from Deadline. So this is on Deadline's website, deadline.com. This is the article in question, written by Nelly Andreeva. King Kong live action series in works at Disney Plus from Stephanie Folsom, James Wan's Atomic Monster, and Disney branded TV. All right. I gotta say, they got some good art to put in this article. Exclusive. An iconic monster is headed to Disney Plus. All right, I already read that part. Okay, we'll hop on down to the stuff that I haven't read. Written by Paper Girl's creator Stephanie Folsom, King Kong is a serialized action adventure drama that brings the classic monster story into the modern age, with a return to Skull Island and the dawn of a new Kong. The series will explore the mythology of King Kong's origin story and the supernatural mysteries of his home based on intellectual property from Marion C. Cooper's original books and the new King Kong novelizations by Joe DeVito. That's the one, Joe DeVito. This is the first time I'm reading this article, but Joe DeVito features this art prominently on his books. The only novel that I have from Joe DeVito is King Kong versus Tarzan. Not to say that they're going to put Tarzan in this series, because I think Tarzan, his copyright has expired with Disney a while back. From what I understand, the current owners of Tarzan as a intellectual property, they hang on to him pretty tightly. They're pretty tightly knit into that property. But anyhow, that's besides the point. Continuing, Folsom executive produces alongside Juan, Michael Clear, and Rob Hackett for Atomic Monster, and Danny Festa and Mark Manis for World Builder Entertainment. The Marion C. Cooper estate had teamed with DeVito to produce new novelizations that are being used as a source material for the series, along with the original book IP. That's some interesting stuff. Okay, so I didn't mention this earlier, but the writer or the creator of Paper Girls, Stephanie Folsom, Paper Girls. Let me just take a look at that. What's Paper Girls? Is that a show? Okay, that's a show. Okay, I was thinking of that one Disney short. What was that one Disney short with the paper airplane? What was that one called? I gotta look that up. Paper airplane Disney short. What was that one called? That's called Paper Man. Okay. Okay. Well, I know nothing about the show Paper Girls, so I can't really comment on that. But she's going to be the executive producer alongside James Wan. James Wan is going to be working on this project. Let me tell you, when I first heard that name, James Wan, I was thinking, man, that sounds familiar to me. Hey, you want to know? Let's just pull up the Wikipedia on James Wan. Okay, here's his little Wikipedia page. Bada bing, bada boom. He looks like a cool dude. And let's see, filmography. So he directed Saw in 2004. He was a writer and producer in Saw 3, Dead Silence, a lot of horror movie stuff, a lot of scary stuff. Death Sentence, I've never seen that. Insidious, The Conjuring, Insidious Chapter 2, Fast and the Furious 7, surprisingly. I actually don't think I've seen that one. I think I might have seen Fast and Furious 8, but that was surprising. The Conjuring 2, The Nun, and in 2018 he also directed and wrote the story for Aquaman. And that's really where it clicked for me. I think the only other movie that I've seen is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. But yeah. And you know what really resonates with me is in Aquaman, it had a lot of cool monster things. You had the trench people, you had the giant crab people, you had the Kraken, in that movie. And that makes me hopeful. If there's one way to get to my heart, straight to my heart, it's having some monsters, having some scary stuff in your movie or show. But back to the article. Honestly, I think I'll have to read some more of DeVito's novels just to kind of get a better understanding on his writing style. I still got to finish King Kong versus Tarzan. I started reading that book like a year ago, and then I just stopped. And I see it right now looking at me on my bookshelf, taunting me. But anyhow, that's besides the point. So, live action series, that's important. It's live action. That's what is confirmed so far. Who knows? This might change. Just like the working title is called King Kong, that might also change. Who knows? They might add some stuff on there. But it's going to be live action. King Kong Skull Island was in development at Mar Vista Entertainment and IM Global Television 5 years ago with a different creative team, also based on Cooper's King Kong and DeVito Artworks Skull Island, with Festa executive producing. It did not come to fruition. Okay, so this is they're talking about King Kong Skull Island, that canceled project that was going to happen. So King Kong, a 90-year-old character with an entangled web of rights, has been the subject of a slew of movies. And this is also in that little tweet that I read earlier. Most recently in the legendary Warner Brothers Monsterverse, which only uses the Kong part of the gorilla name for its titles like 2017's Kong Skull Island, 2019 Godzilla King of the Monsters, and 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong, followed by a Netflix anime series, Skull Island. Now, we have heard about that anime series. We don't know much about it. We can assume that's going to be on Skull Island. We probably could assume that it's going to be a prequel of sorts, because as far as we know in the current timeline, present day in Godzilla vs. Kong, Skull Island is in the middle of a giant storm now, whereas before in 2017's Skull Island movie, it was, hidden by the storm. In the more recent Godzilla vs. Kong, the storm has really kind of engulfed the island more fully. But, we'll have to wait and see. That'll be interesting. Us monster fans, we're eating good. We're eating good right now. Let's continue. Filmmaker Juan, whose TV producing credits include MacGyver and Swamp Thing, is repped by CAA, Stacy Testro International, and Vyman Greenspan, Fox Rosenberg, Mobasser Younger, and Light. Okay, that was a lot of things that don't mean much to me. Shout out to Theme Park Casual. Big thanks for tweeting and sharing out the stream. That really means a lot, man. It's very kind words too. We're coming towards the end of this little article here. So Folsom, who created and executive produces Amazon's sci-fi series Paper Girls, and also worked on the streamer's upcoming fantasy series Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Whoa, okay. Is repped by Verve, Kaplan, Perron, and Yorn, Levine, Barnes. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, probably should have started out with that. Folsom worked on Rings of Power. Although I guess we don't know if Rings of Power is going to be any good. But hey, I put more weight on that than the series Paper Girls. That's just me because I never seen that series. Let me know if you have and if it's any good. I might check it out. Anyhow, and then they talk about DeVito Artworks. Overall, very short article. We can see all these other cool little articles down there, but really, we don't know much. We just don't know much. We know that they've just announced that it's in very early development on a working title of King Kong. We have some lovely art there from DeVito Artworks there. He does some really good art. You're going to have James Wan working on it, which I think is going to be interesting. I think that's good. I enjoyed Aquaman. I enjoyed the Conjuring movies, at least the ones that I saw. Does this mean that it's going to be a scary kind of series? Who knows? It is going to be on Disney Plus. We know it's going to be a series. We don't know how many episodes are going to be in the series. So there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions here. It's going to be it's going to be a serialized action adventure drama that brings the classic monster story into the modern age. With a return to Skull Island, okay, and the dawn of a new Kong, okay. So we have some things that we can imagine, that we can work with here. So it's going to follow the basic gist of the original story. Crew of a ship, film crew on a ship, land on Skull Island. They find Kong. Kong likes a certain lady person on this crew. They take Kong back to civilization. Kong gets free, runs amok, climbs up a building, gets shot down, and dies. That's the basic King Kong skeleton right there. That's your skeleton 4 story. We know it's going to be in the modern age. And we know that it's going to be on Skull Island. Into the modern age does make me nervous too. I don't know why, but in my mind flashed images of Transformers. You know that first Transformers movie back in 2007, where they're in this city near the end and there's just a bunch of mayhem happening. Jets are flying in, tanks are getting shot up, giant robots are ripping each other apart. For some reason I'm imagining Kong getting shot by a missile from a freaking attack military jet. I doubt they do that, but there's a lot of things. So what do we know about Disney? Well, Disney likes doing modern things, I guess. Some people would say woke. They like remaking things. Something that I think is interesting to note that I thought of when I first saw this tweet, or this article, was a lesser known and what I would call underrated Disney movie, 1998's Mighty Joe Young. Look at that. I got some notifications. I'll click on those later. But Mighty Joe Young, I would say, is a good monster movie. And it's a great remake of a great classic movie that does a lot to honor and spirit of its original, of its source material. Mighty Joe Young, you had some cool things. I'm pretty sure this is the thumbnail they have for it on Disney Plus because of how funny it kind of looks. But it was a pretty cool movie. Came out the same year as Roland Emmerich's Godzilla. We all kind of know what happened with that one. But this movie doesn't exactly get talked about. There's some great practical effects, great suitmation for Mighty Joe Young. They used some animatronics here and there. They used some CGI too. They filmed it on Kualoa Ranch on the islands, in the state of Hawaii. There's some cool stuff. Obviously, this is an animatronic here, Mighty Joe Young holding the boy. But that's what it made me think of. Obviously, it's not going to be Mighty Joe Young. It's going to be King Kong. We're going to be following a King Kong story. It's going to be set in the modern day. What else do we know about Disney coming back to that topic? Well, we know Disney's going to be as inoffensive as possible. If you've ever watched the original King Kong movie, heck, if you've even watched some of the other adaptations or versions of King Kong, whether it's Dino De Laurentiis' 1976 King Kong or Peter Jackson's Kong, the Eighth Wonder of the World in 2005, or even more recently, the Monsterverse, with their depictions of the natives. That's going to be something that I can guarantee will be made marketable. It'll be as inoffensive as possible. The original 1933 King Kong had your natives, and they weren't so flattering. They're not so flattering. I don't think that's a huge shocker there to admit that the native Skull Islanders in 1933's King Kong weren't exactly the most authentic and tasteful representations of indigenous people. That's what I'd say. Let's fast forward to 1976's King Kong. It's kind of the same thing. Maybe it's not so heavy-handed, but it's not exactly flattering either. Peter Jackson went freaking nuts with his Skull Island natives. He went full-on horror movie with them, and I love it so much. I think I can pretty much guarantee, I think we pretty much take money to the bank with that one, that the natives, if they're even featured in this movie, or, this series, if they are, they're going to be very just basic. They're not going to be offensive. That's what I think. Again, assuming if they're even in this show, if they even do that. We know that, or no, we could assume that Andero is going to be, or someone who is going to catch the eye of King Kong. We can assume this. Beauty killed the beast. That's one of the core lines and like visuals in the King Kong mythos. Even in the Monsterverse with Kong Skull Island, when it was like 120 foot, like a King Kong who was over 100 feet tall. He had a soft spot for Brie Larson's woman character in that movie. Like, obviously it wasn't romantic, because it'd be like me holding up a Lego minifigure and saying, "Oh, I love this," That's one of the constants. There's a couple things that's gotta be in a King Kong movie. People go to the island. King Kong's gonna be a gorilla-like, an ape-like monster creature. They gotta have Skull Island be a savage place. Not necessarily the natives, but the other wildlife and fauna, they also gotta be dangerous. There's gotta be a reason why King Kong is the king of his island. Not just, he's not the king of an island of tiny rabbits. He's the king of Skull Island, an island with dinosaurs, giant reptiles, snakes, octopus. It's like it's a dangerous place. It's a place that you wouldn't want to go to on vacation, because you'd get eaten by something. So it'll be interesting. I'm hoping that we get to see, maybe not dinosaurs, but at least something else monstrous on this island. Maybe we'll get to see bugs. Who knows? Giant bugs. Peter Jackson, he scared the crap out of me as a kid with the giant bug scenes in his movie. Rightly so. All right, so we've pretty much talked about the Skull Island stuff. The crew, who knows? Who knows if they're even going to do like a film crew? I'd have to really take a look and a read through of Joe DeVito's novelizations to get a better grasp on what they could do. Dino De Laurentiis in the 1976 movie, it was more of an oil company going to the Skull Island and finding Kong. I doubt they'll do that, but who knows? Who knows? It could possibly be anti-expansion, anti-resource, deforestation kind of thing. They could go that angle with these modern people coming to this wild, untamed, in its own way, beautiful place. Who knows? Who knows what they could do with that? We know that somehow they're going to capture Kong and they're going to take him back to civilization. They could take him back to New York. Who knows? Kind of depends what ocean they're going to put Skull Island in. Hey, if Skull Island's in the Pacific, who knows? And we'll get to see some Polynesian representation in a Disney property. I know we've had a lot of that with Moana. And I think they did a Doogie Howser reboot on Disney Plus. It is set in Hawaii. Who knows? Shout outs to Dadman Walking. Dadman Walking 55. If you're just now tuning in, we really don't know much of anything about this new King Kong live action series. Shout outs as well to Mrs. Dadman Walking. Glad to see you both here. You know, we're just having a nice time. We're really just kind of, I guess everyone's really at the point of speculation here. All we know is that it's going to follow the basic King Kong story, and it's going to be set in the modern day. And like the first real kind of small paragraph here, it says that the series will explore the mythology of King Kong's origin stories and the supernatural mysteries of his home, based on the IP, of course, from Marion C. Cooper's original books and some of the King Kong novelizations from Joe DeVito. Yeah, I really hope they don't ruin it. I mean, worst comes to worst, it'll be, you know, worst comes to worst. It might not be the worst thing ever. Hopefully it'll be better than the movie Queen Kong. I posted a link up there in the chat, earlier in the chat, and it's a very dumb parody movie made back in like the 70s or 80s. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Speculation. We've kind of covered the basics, you know. I've talked a bit about my hopes. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they do capture King Kong. And, you know, shout out to another viewer here, another friend of the channel, Real Wade Nation Gaming on Twitch. Check out his Twitch. He's going to be streaming today. I wish it was a joke. And it's a joke of a movie. Ooh, I know. It's a bit aggressive for this channel for me to say something like that, but hey, I think it's not far off. I'm going to be very interested in the cast, of course, who they get. I'm going to be interested to see if they even go very far into the whole Andaro King Kong relationship. If they even have a character named Andaro. I know in the 76 movie they had a character named Duan. Instead of a character named Andaro, the character was named Duan. And that was King Kong's love interest kind of thing. You know, love interest, you know. Recipient of his affection. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how the violence is in this. I don't think obviously it's not going to be rated R, you know. We're not going to see King Kong like biting the head off of some dude and drinking his blood, you know. We're not going to see that. I doubt we'll even see King Kong like throwing or like stomping on someone, you know. I think it's going to be a PG-13, and even then I think it's probably going to be in the vein of like the Jungle Cruise maybe. And that's not even talking about the visual effects that we're going to get, or that we could get in this series. It's going to be live action. I think it's safe to assume that's going to be CGI. I'm not really familiar with any recent works from Disney that have been like, you know, big monstrous ape-like things. I guess The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book had King Louie, who was a Gigantopithecus, basically a giant bipedal orangutan. And he honestly had a pretty cool thing. Oh my goodness. That would be, I just had a terrible thought. Like they're gonna say, like, they're gonna make a Harambe joke somewhere in this movie, in this series, but I don't know. I don't know if Disney would go that way. You know, we know that James Wan's gonna be working on this. We know that James Wan has done a lot of horror movie stuff. Saw, The Conjuring, Insidious, all these cool things. He's also done Aquaman. I personally really enjoyed Aquaman. We're not going to talk about Amber Heard because even though she's a part of the movie, she's not really the focus of, she's not really relevant to this discussion about King Kong. We can focus on the monsters in this movie. I did see your tweet. That was very cool. You know, shout outs to Real Wade Nation. You know, keep on grinding, keep on doing what you're interested in, you know. And obviously consistency. That's honestly one of the best things. Again, check out Real Wade Nation on Twitch. Very easy to find. We're going to start, I'd say, you know, we're probably going to start closing this out because I don't really think there's too much more speculation that I can really have with this, with basically the things that we know. Shout outs to everybody who passed on through, everybody who retweeted, who liked the video. I even put this on Instagram. You know, hey, maybe maybe whoever follows me on Instagram tunes in and thinks, wow, this guy's pretty cool. And yes, I tell you, people like a good personality. People like a likable personality. It's really all I can say. You know, it's very basic to say that, but hey, it's very true. Some of the greatest truths in the world are basic. But anyhow, guys, big thanks again. This has been myself, Mongo. Thanks. Goodness, I really want to rewatch. I'm probably going to watch Mighty Joe Young tonight when I'm done streaming because I like that movie and it's on Disney Plus. It's got a giant gorilla and it's filmed on my own beautiful home of Hawaii. But anyway, shout outs to everybody. We've had a nice time. Thanks again. Let me see here. Full screen this. Remove that. All I can really say has already been said is basically we hope that we won't be disappointed. Disappointed! And we hope that the show isn't mediocre. Mediocre. Because honestly, even a mediocre show can be worse than a bad show in some ways, you know? Even a bad show, both types, it's like you think of what could have been. And for now, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we get something good. And, you know, with that, guys, big thanks again. Thanks for commenting and conversating with me. You've not only enhanced the stream and the experience for me, but hopefully you've enhanced this experience for anybody who tunes in to this stream in the future. So big thanks, guys. And Mongo, take us out.
Mongo only pawn in game of life.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks again. See you later. Bye-bye.